Do you want to know what one of my favorite types of fabrics are to work with? I'm whispering because it's kind of a secret, but I've talked about it plenty of times on my channel, so maybe it's not as big of a secret as I thought. And I'm sure there are other people out there already doing this. But my secret favorite fabric to actually work with, that's a tongue twister, are vintage tablecloths and vintage linens. Hello, and welcome back to Dine in Creativity, or welcome if this is your first time here. I'm Rachel Ann, and this is my channel fully dedicated to my sewing journey, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Right from the jump, I would say the biggest low in this particular project was figuring out how I wanted to work with this beautiful vintage tablecloth that was gifted to me by my mother. The sewing gods smiled down on me because way back when they must have realized that, oh, okay, this girl is going to end up sewing one day. We need to give her a mom who collects vintage tablecloths. And the last time I went to Florida to visit my mom, she pulled this beautiful piece out and gifted it to me. Full circle moment. I can't wait to wear this dress that I'm about to show you the next time I go see her. Things have a funny way of working out. So let's get into it. The other high of this video that I want to go ahead and share with you is that I actually use the McCall's 7946 pattern as the way it was intended, and that was to turn it into a dress. I really wanted something effortless, light for this summer. But let's go ahead and get into the main star of the show today, and that is what I'm calling my Strawberry Fields Forever dress. This particular fabric is almost this lightweight, I'm looking at it over here, almost this lightweight linen cotton type blend. You touch it and you can just feel the quality. They don't make stuff like this anymore. That's all I'm gonna say. It doesn't seem to have any synthetic fibers. And now I'm just going from the touch of the fabric itself. Very breathable, very lightweight. And I immediately thought to myself, this would look so cute using the McCall's 7946 pattern, which is a very easy to use pattern, perfect for beginners. I don't know about you, but I'm seeing these kinds of dresses everywhere lately. Just whether I'm doing a Google search for cute summer sundresses, I'm in the store, it seems like everyone is having the spaghetti strap, either tie at the shoulder or tie at the bust, maxi dress moment, and they are the easiest dresses to whip up and put together. So if you're interested in that style, I could not recommend this pattern enough. It is a very quick sew. It's not time intensive, very straightforward. There are not a ton of steps. The only downfall is that it's not the most exciting sew, if you will. You're doing a ton of straight stitches over and over. In fact, you may just feel like a straight stitch fabric manufacturer when you make this garment, but nonetheless super cute. And sometimes we need those easy sews just to cleanse the palette or create an adorable garment in a rather short amount of time. These are the kind of projects that keep me hooked on sewing because you realize they're actually very straightforward and simple to sew up. You can pick your own textiles and fabrics to work with. And voila, you have a one-of-a-kind garment that you can wear, cherish, and love till the end of time. First of all, let's get into this fabric. Let me just go ahead and let you feast your eyes on the magnificence that this tablecloth is and was. There was a small part of me that almost for a split second hesitated to even cut it up because I thought, do I actually just want to keep this as a tablecloth? Truth is, this thing is too beautiful to keep folded up in a drawer and only pulled out for the summer season. This is a garment that I want to be able to wear time and time again during the summer. And so I got over that split second hesitation on cutting it and went to town. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I chose this pattern because as time goes by, I'm sure, and this may sound really silly to some people watching, but this is my over analytical mind here. As time goes by, I want to be able to then turn this fabric into something else because there will come a time where I don't want to wear the tie straps at my shoulders. So I wanted the fabric to be still that large enough piece, not cutting it into panels to make a multi-paneled garment for the sake of eventually down the line, I can even turn this into a cute top, something that will fit my wardrobe as it continues to change or morph, you know. So this summer I want it to be the spaghetti strap top. But because this fabric is so beautiful, it's so one of a kind, strawberry fields forever, I want to try to make it last as long as I can. So that was definitely a little added detail I was considering when I was working with this particular fabric. How can I maximize the fabric so that in a couple years, maybe even 5 or 10 years, I don't want to wear the sundress that ties at the shoulders. Again, this is just my weird analytical mind going here, but just kind of trying to think ahead. When you're working with this pattern, it's basically two main pieces. You've got your front piece, your back piece. I'm just kind of taking my time and showing this clip to you because I wanted to show you how you can really lay out the fabric you choose to work with to maximize the design. And this particular fabric had everything you would want. It had the beautiful blue and white border at the bottom, and then it had almost the lattice work strawberry print details all on what ended up being the bodice of the dress. When you get done sewing the sides of the dress together, you are only marking the elastic channel lines on the dress itself. This is where you'll end up attaching bias tape, sewing the bias tape down, leaving a small opening, and that's where you insert your elastic into the desired places. The thing I love about this pattern is that it's easily tweakable. If you all remember this teal linen top, I actually made it so that the elastic channels were closer together than what the pattern called for, just for the design element of that piece. I thought it would look cute, more gathered at the waist with an exaggerated flare at the bottom. Not quite a full peplum, but a little peplum-y, if you will. But there's so many ways that you can modify this pattern to make it work for your body type. I already have a short torso, so if I space things out way too far, it just doesn't always look right on my body. And so that's just something to consider if you choose to work with this pattern. Tons of ways to modify it to create really the piece that you want to. As you can see in this clip here, all that you have to do is pin your bias tape to your dress. I typically do all three at the same time. Make sure they're spaced out, they're measured in the way that you want them to be laid out on your body. Also keeping in mind that once you insert the elastic, your dress is going to rise up just a tad. As long as you follow those markers of the pattern itself, you should be totally good to go. But there will be a teeny blousey bits in between each elastic channel. So naturally, if the dress appears really long, if you choose to do a full maxi, it'll end up bringing it up an inch or two. That's just been my frequent experience in working with this pattern. One thing that can also be helpful is to iron your bias tape as you are pinning it on your dress, just to get it nice and flat. Upon doing my first fitting, I realized this dress is really coming together the way I want it to. I was very pleased, but I will share, because I had deviated slightly from what the pattern called for, which if you want to do the maxi version, they more so are wanting you to add a ruffle at the bottom of the dress. When I work with vintage tablecloths or vintage textiles, things of that nature, I recognize I don't like to get in there and start cutting up the fabric a whole lot. My preference is always to just let the fabric be the showcase piece, which I know adding a ruffle can definitely do that too. But for this dress, I didn't want to add the ruffle at the bottom for whatever reason, stylistically. And again, just thinking ahead, I would much rather have this large, uncut piece of fabric to work with in the future should I end up remaking this fabric into something else. Versus have that big piece of a ruffle that may be more difficult to work with. So thinking ahead here, but it was too tight down at the bottom of my legs. I could walk, but I noticed that my steps weren't able to be fully wide. So I added a slit, which was a little bit of a nerve-wracking experience in and of itself. But lo and behold, it worked out great. I found a great method to add a slit to a garment so that it actually looks intentional and you're finishing it in a way that makes sure that it's not going to fray. I know previously when I kind of did my own thing and tried to add a slit, I never knew how to finish the top portion of the slit so that it didn't have any frayed edges. And so I'll show you with this one, I was able to actually learn a new technique in adding that slit and finishing it in a way that it really does look professional and there are no frayed or loose edges at all on the garment. You know, it's funny. Every time I work with a vintage textile, I always think of the stories that probably go into the people who owned these fabrics before I did and the life that they saw, the memories that were made with them. And I really feel like it makes them just very special. And so never negate the power of going into an estate sale, a local thrift store, a flea market, because you just never know what kind of gorgeous vintage textiles you will find. With all that being said, I have made all of the final alterations on this garment. It is done. It is ready to be worn this summer. I couldn't be more thrilled. And without further ado, let's take a peek at it. So this was the final dress. As you can see, the slit gives a little more comfortability, a little more room to work with. The other piece I like about the added slit is that it does kind of break up the pattern a tad, which is nice. You know, it kind of gives it that effortless, kind of effervescent type feel and lets a little leg show through. I'm so thrilled with the ease of this dress, how it is just one of those garments that you put on, you feel ready to go. There's not a lot of fuss to it, just making sure those straps are tied the way you want them to. The pattern does also have the option, of course, to be able to do other types of sleeves, which I've done all of them before and they all worked out great. So really, this is a big shout out to McCall's 7946 pattern, but also to working with Vintage Textiles. I want to go ahead and just show you two other vintage tablecloths I recently picked up. They are just too good. So hang on one sec, I'll grab them. The other day, I just went into one of my favorite thrift stores near my house and fell upon the best luck possible in terms of finding this mint condition linen cotton blend. It's gotta be a linen cotton blend tablecloth. It is all machine embroidered with these scalloped edges. This is one I am over the moon about. I see a beautiful dress, almost probably going to go with my usual square neck style dress, maxi, but then I do also believe I have enough to make a flowy, cute little lightweight top, which is going to be probably one I try to squeeze out, project I squeeze out here sooner rather than later because I just really want to be able to wear this summer. But I was thrilled. You just never know what you're going to find. And however I work with this, I really want to showcase this detailed embroidery work. It is just stunning. They don't make them like this anymore, unfortunately, but that doesn't mean that you won't still be able to find gorgeous pieces in your local thrift stores or, again, like I've already shared, flea markets, consignment shops, things of that nature. Also, I have to add that they have about 12 napkins included. in this set, and they all have the same embroidery and scalloped edges. So it's going to be really fun to come up with something to make with these napkins as well. These flowers have all basically been, if I had to guess, hand sewn onto this tablecloth. Even when I checked out, apparently this tablecloth had been already discussed in the thrift store because the lady who was at the counter said, "Oh my gosh, you're going to take that, huh?" I said, "Yes, I am." And so I cannot wait to probably make some kind of maxi dress with it. It just to me lends its hand to a gorgeous long maxi dress where this fabric again is going to be on full display. And so, really, I just wanted to share these with you because if you're a fellow lover of vintage textiles and fabrics, then I'm sure that you will appreciate these as much as I did. I would say the main tip I kind of keep in mind when I'm searching for vintage fabrics or tablecloths is to kind of really be able to see the potential in that particular tablecloth. Because some things, it can be easy to pass them up on the first go. You just never know what you'll find when you start shopping thrift stores. And I'll be honest, I like these fabrics so much more than the mass produced fabrics that we saw sometimes at Joann's. Not knocking Joann's, but sometimes I have noticed since working with their fabrics that the more that I wash the garments, which I wash all my stuff basically on Gentle and hang up a lot of it to dry and then I'll steam it, it starts looking worn and a little raggedy. Some of the fabrics do. So it's just interesting how the quality and production of different fabric has kind of started to decline over the years, in my opinion, which we also see in the stores. Just the fabric doesn't seem to be as sturdy or of high caliber slash quality as it once was. Do you too also enjoy working with vintage textiles? Are you experimenting with any new projects for your summer sewing? I have more or less sewn up everything I wanted to sew for this summer season, and it's basically my full summer wardrobe. I am done. I started working on it months ago, and this summer is going to be very busy for me. And so I may even be posting a little bit irregularly because I kind of have a packed summer ahead of me and a lot of different things going on. So just wanted to give everybody a heads up. I'm not planning to leave, but there may be a week or two in between me posting videos at certain points where I'm just kind of tied up doing some other things. So just putting that out there. Do you have any fun plans for this summer? Trips or events? Anything of that nature that you're looking forward to? I really, really hope that you are taking great care of yourself. I so appreciate you being here. As always, happy creating and sewing, and be well.
I love it, Whitney.